Welcome again to the Metacinema channel. Today I'll recap a sci-fi action film called Iron Sky. Movie begins with the start of a nuclear war on planet Earth, which is the day the Moon Nazis attack the Earth. The President of America is being evacuated, where she enters a cold region and comes inside a seemingly abandoned place. The President's hand starts to shift into monster-like features, then she uses it to open an entrance to the underground. The nuclear war leads to the end of the planet Earth, with the last remaining humans fleeing to the dark side of the moon and living with the rest of the moon. Nazis of Washington, who is Renata Richter and James Washington's daughter, sees the commotion going on wherein an unknown oval ship from the Earth is heading towards their moon base and the others are confused as to how the oval ship can open their moon base hatch due to having an override signal connected to their base. And Renata refuses to let the ship in, but Obi disagrees. Obi runs towards the nearest electrical box and turns off the power to the main station so that Renata and the others will not fire at the oval ship. Obi quickly runs towards the hangar, and as the power goes back, Renata sees her daughter, and so she takes back her word and aborts the command to open fire at the oval ship. Obi enters a crane in the hangar and operates it. As the oval ship enters, it lands on a helipad which suddenly falls due to the ship's weight. Obi then uses the crane to catch the ship on time before it can completely fall. And Obi saves the people inside it. People from the ship who came from Russia start to go outside of their ship, but they are all greeted by soldiers with guns pointing at them. Renata explains to them that they cannot receive them in the moon base since they barely have enough food and supplies for their people, so she orders to temporarily put them in the storage room as she thinks of how to handle them. The moon base is a huge mess, with Obi fixing almost everything to keep the people safe during moonquakes and to attend to their needs as most of the population suffers from such a place. There is a small group of people that lives in a better condition. This group of people is called the Jobsists, who worships technology, with Steve Jobs being their god while a prayer is being held. Donald, who is the leader of the Jobsists, notices a member who has made unauthorized changes to his phone. Donald calls out the individual and terminates him into tiny atoms, which they call the excommunicate. Obi sees all of what had happened and is shocked to know how Donald can easily blow someone up for not following his rules, so she uses a hammer to break their glass door and enter their premises. Donald tries to argue with Obi, but Obi quickly finishes off their argument by threatening to change the Wi-Fi password. Obi then sees her mother, who is coughing, and she rushes towards her side and tells her that ever since her dad died, she had always been the one taking care of everybody. Donald offers a handkerchief to Renata, but Obi still reacts with a fierce attitude towards Donald. Malcolm, one of the moon base guards, comes to hand Renata her handkerchief with blood stains and praises Obi for her bravery and saving the Russians in the oval ship. After a while, Obi continues to work on her ship named Amelia, which is the last interplanetary spacecraft. She uses helium-3 to try and power up its engines, but it unfortunately fails. Obi then goes on the oval ship to study its parts when she suddenly sees a cloaked person going outside of the ship. She rushes to follow the man and finally enters a room where the cloaked man knocks her cold in the head with a minor head injury. Obi wakes up and sees the cloaked man rummaging through the office. The cloaked man then sees the chocolate-like food wrapped in gold foil and eats it, wherein Obi sees the man's face light up as he is consuming the unknown food. Obi talks back at the man, to which the man shows himself and is actually dictator Wolfgang Quartz Flash. Obi shocked to see him in front of her, knowing that her mom saw dictator Quartz Flash die. Dictator Quartz Flash then gives the unknown food to Obi so that her mother can feel well. Obi rushes to her mother and gives her the unknown food, wherein Renata's face lights up and she instantly becomes young again. Is shocked. Obi goes back to Quartz Flash, but Donald sees everything that had happened and follows Obi, demanding an explanation from Quartz Flash. Obi frees Quartz Flash, and he explains that what Renata had eaten is called a brillia, which is pure energy. He also adds that they are immortal beings that had found planet Earth way before humans existed. They had studied the life forms on Earth, but Quartz Flash gave the unknown food to primates that eventually led to the evolution of humans. Quartz Flash shows a map to the center of the Earth, where Obi can find the Holy Grail that can save her mother and power her ship. And he also gives Obi his severed finger. All of this is captured by Donald, who is eavesdropping by the door. Obi then sets out to go to the center of the Earth with Sasha, the Russian who made the oval ship, when Donald and his subordinates stop them in their tracks, and Donald offers to come with them, to which Obi accepts. As they were near the oval ship, they come upon Malcolm, who also comes along with them on their journey, and Ob needing his muscles along the way so far their flight to Earth is smoothly sailing, not until Obi pulls the wrong lever that crashes their ship. Their rough landing leads to them falling through the cracks and into the center of the Earth. Seeing where they are, the environment surprises them since the place looks like a paradise. The group continues with their journey using the Nokia 3310 as their compass, but along the way Obi seems to lose track as to where they are heading, even though she has a map and a compass. Sasha then looks at the map and realizes that they are lost because the compass mirrors the Earth, meaning that the directions are also the opposite in the legendary city of Agartha, which is at the center of the Earth. And with the Virul Yor also located in the center of it, a room is filled with known individuals who are shape-shifting Viruls like Mark Zuckerberg and the President of America herself. The President of America criticizes the other Viruls on what they had done on Earth when Adolf Hitler, the President Virul, suddenly barges in a room and criticizes the President of America and how she created the nuclear war that made the world a toxic mess. Meanwhile, Obi's group stops by a nearby shop. Since the place is lurking with Viruls, the Jobsists suddenly see a person who looks like Steve Jobs, so they hurriedly go to him and bow down to their god. Seeing their actions, Obi, Sasha, and Malcolm run away from the scene but are still caught in the way by the Viruls. Ob sees an escape route, but Malcolm tells them that he will buy them some time by holding off the Viruls, where Malcolm fights with two dinosaurs. Obi and Sasha see the Jobsists and are beaten up, Malcolm being taken away by the Viruls, and having no choice they continue with their mission by kidnapping Viruls and dressing like one. Malcolm and the Jobsists are brought to President Virul, where he orders them to be terminated, and Donald abruptly offers a business proposal to President Virul to save their lives. On the other hand, Obi and Sasha reach the center where the Holy Grail is located, but they struggle to know how to open the door until Sasha looks at the map again and sees that a finger is needed to open the door. Obi suddenly remembers the finger that Quartz Flesh had given to her, and they use it to successfully open the door. At the same time, Donald shows a picture of President Virul's brother Quartz Flesh. In exchange for Quartz Flesh's location, President Virul must bring the other Jobs safely to the city of Agartha, and President Virul agrees. Donald shows to them Quartz Flesh's location, and being the unkind ruler that is, President Virul orders the other Viruls to eat the Jobsists. Upon seeing the Holy Grail in front of them, Obi removes her Virul armor and climbs to the top, where she takes the Holy Grail, and her action triggers a self-destruction mechanism in the place. Back at President Virul's place, the Steve Jobs Virul and the others are done devouring the Jobsists, but they leave Malcolm to eat. At the end, Malcolm successfully frees himself from his chains and attacks the Steve Jobs Virul and the others. Malcolm escapes from the Viruls and runs away to get back with Obi and Sasha. As Obi and Sasha are escaping, the sun-like object above them starts to fall and roll towards them. Ob sees a chariot with a Triceratops dinosaur for both of them to use, and they quickly escape from the other Viruls. Malcolm also catches up with them and hops onto Sasha's chariot, where they avoid the Viruls' attack on them and eventually see the other Viruls be devoured by the Ball of Sun. As Obi and her friends are about to cross a bridge, the Ball of Sun rolls above them and destroys a part of the bridge. Obi then jumps with her chariot and successfully reaches the other side of the bridge. The same goes for her friends, who barely survive their jump across the bridge. The team flies back to the moon, but President Brill, who is on his spaceship, is behind them to go to the moon as well to kill his brother. The moon folks in Renata comes to see Obi, and Renata hugs her daughter as she praises her bravery. Quartz Flesh rushes to meet Obi and asks for the Holy Grail, but Obi refuses to give him the Holy Grail, so Quartz Flesh uses Renata as a hostage and shoots at Malcolm and Sasha. Suddenly, President Virul, who is riding on a dinosaur, invades their moon base and wreaks havoc by taking innocent lives, while Obi and the others are running from President Virul. Quartz Flesh attempts to shoot at his brother, but President Bril's dinosaur swiftly uses its tail to hit Quartz Flesh. Obi then instructs Sasha to prepare the ship and Malcolm to evacuate the moon people. Renata chooses to stay and stop President Virul, so she drinks the Holy Grail, where the pure energy gives her great strength to finally kill President Virul. While Obi and Malcolm are busy evacuating the moon people, Sasha asks Obi to trust and allow him to power up the ship's machine by putting the Holy Grail. Obi hesitates at first, but she eventually gives it to Sasha, where he successfully powers up the ship. As Renata is about to go to the ship, Quartz Flesh shows up beside her, and fires a gun at her. Ob sees her mother being killed by Quartz Flesh and is heartbroken by losing her. Malcolm and Sasha pull Obi into the ship, where Obi, with tears on her face, operates the ship and successfully travels it into space. Their celebration comes to a halt when Quartz Fly shows up on their screen and is actually on his spaceship, opening fire at them. Obi and the others are baffled by Quartz Flesh's sudden attack, but they can only avoid the enemy's attack since their ship has no weapons. Ob is then puzzled by how Quartz Flash can contact them until Quartz Fly shows them that he has one of Donald's phones. Ob thinks of a way to enter Donald's cellular communications through Sasha's Nokia 3310 phone, to which they successfully hack it, and the excommunicated Quartz Flash explodes into atom-like particles which lead to his death and his ship's wreckage. As their aircraft is smooth sailing in space, the Moon people are celebrating their victory against Quartz Flesh and surviving throughout the disasters. Ob sees a low-spirited Sasha and tries to ask what his problem is, to which Sasha replies that he is no match to Malcolm, who has great stories to tell. Ob comforts him by praising his ship and laughs at his quirkiness in creating it. As Ob leaves, Malcolm then comes to Sasha and tells him that Obi likes him, but Sasha thought that it was the other way around, and Malcolm explains that he actually likes guys. Sasha then tells Malcolm that he's an open-minded person, but Malcolm suddenly chokes to death because he's allergic to what he had eaten. Obi and Sasha attend Renata and Malcolm's funeral, but as Malcolm's coffin is about to be let out into space, Malcolm opens his coffin and is still alive. Malcolm tells them that his body shuts down once in a while. That is why his mother had buried him several times in his childhood. The movie ends with Obi and Sasha sitting by the window and finally kissing each other to express their love for one another. Their ship continuously flies through space to their destination on Mars, where there is an unknown Soviet Union base. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and also subscribe my channel for more videos like